All right, Cannonball Nation, it's Wednesday night here on the East Coast. We're getting ready to fire this thing up and run another episode of Cannonball Chronicles. Going to be a great show tonight. We got some killer guests. Rebecca's back in with another 1,000 words, and the show's just heating up. We're going to let the social media channel build up a little bit, so we got about 9 minutes till we go live. Grab a coffee, something cold to drink, get ready. Cannonball Chronicles coming up. All right, looks like a good crew already. Jay Montgomery in the house. Hello from Louisiana. What's up, brother? Looking forward to getting back down there for some cafe au lait and beignets at Cafe Du Monde. Favorite breakfast traveling across the country. Jay Montgomery coming in from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Boy, things are heating up down there for Suck Bang Blow. We wish those guys all the best. They're in a hell of a battle right now. Good to see you guys here tonight. Remember, throw up your hometown. Tell us where you're from. Idaho's here. Mike Brusso, racer number 42. Also, like Mike did, if you're a Cannonball racer, throw your number up so we can give you some props. Cannonball Chronicles going live in just 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Stick around. Fort Wayne, Indiana, right on. Home of the ever-popular Mr. Frank Burns from MASH. Good afternoon from Cali. Good to see you here. Checking in from Buffalo, New York, 716. What else do we have? Colorado in the house, Northwest Jersey. Well, I understand they call a pork roll something different up there, but we'll get back to that later. Good to see all you guys here, man. Remember to hit your likes and share buttons. Support these shows coming out to you. We want to give a big thanks to the Chopper Town Nation for that, for keeping us on the air and letting us get the message out. I appreciate them, everybody over at the Cycle Source family. Just 3 minutes. 3 minutes, we're going live with this one. Get ready. Yucatan, Mexico in the house. Man, that's awesome. One of our favorite things about being part of the Chopper Town family is that worldwide reach, man. So good to see you guys here. Tony Tello in the house, Greg LeVay. So good. So good to see you guys here. It's going to be a fantastic show. We're just about a minute out from going live with Cannonball Chronicles this evening. And I guess we could actually get that started right now. Let's get this one out of the station, up on the tracks, and go live with this week's Cannonball Chronicles. Here we go.
Hey there, everybody. What's happening? It's Jason Sims. That's right. It's Wednesday again. And you know what that means. We get to bring you another episode of Cannonball Chronicles. It just keeps getting better and better every week, I think. Last week was just a killer show. Had a lot of fun. Had a good co-host, my wife, Leanne Sims. Unfortunately, tonight, she's not making an appearance. Boo. Ooh. Oh, well, you get me, and you get my good buddy, Rob. Where you at, Rob?
It's hump day.
Big hump day.
Hump day. That's what we've been doing all day, humping stuff. From the left to the right, to the right to the left, moving stuff around. If I ever see another shelving unit, it's going to be too soon.
I hear you. I hear you.
What's going on, buddy?
Boy, I'm just out on the road right now. I mean, me and Leanne are actually out doing about a 5,000-mile road trip in 5 days, just hitting up a bunch of spots, picking up a bunch of things, hunting a few Harleys, and visiting some friends along the way. So
nice.
We're smacking down the miles and checking out the bikes and checking out the scenery, doing some research for some upcoming things that we can't talk about right now, but we can talk about Motorcycle Cannonball.
Nice. First, before we do that, Leanne did a great job last week. And man, thank you so much, Leanne, for doing that. I know she's in the background there somewhere, but she was absolutely wonderful. And I really appreciate her stepping in, doing her job, doing my job last week.
She did tell me if we get at least 100 comments on this thing over here, that she'll come back next week.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that leads us up to everybody hit your like and share button. Tell all your friends to tune in. Write some comments to us, and we'll try and respond to some during the show and address your issues. We got great guests with us tonight. I am so excited. There was no way I was going to miss this show tonight.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Even though I have absolutely no business being on the air tonight with what's going on.
I don't either. We got to be home by Friday, and we're still 1,700 miles out.
So at the end of the show, it's unplug and run, right?
Exactly. Well, I'm going to get a few hours of sleep, but I could be persuaded. I'll tell everybody I'm in Marion, Indiana right now. And if you guys out there anywhere near Indiana have any old bikes or any old parts, I may just come visit you. You can slide up in my DMs and let me know.
And where are your DMs?
I don't know. It's that message box. Or put it in the comments. I'll call you.
Or Facebook, right?
Or Facebook.
Or Instagram. What do you go by on Instagram?
My personal one, Sturgis Vintage Cycles, or you can get a hold of MC_Cannonball, and that'll get to me also. If you want, you can even send smoke signals.
Spike Kyle Johnson is saying in response to me, in California, getting ready to assemble the 38. Spike, tell us more about that as we go on with the show here. So, what do you want to do next?
Let's, I don't know. What should we do next?
Well, we should look at some pictures or some video.
Yeah.
What's a picture worth?
1,000 words. Hey, Rebecca, what's happening?
Hi. Oh, the usual.
Hi,
my
Rebecca.
Hair's doing weird stuff, but that's the usual. Hi, Rob. How are you?
How are you, Rebecca? What do you got? Some humidity going on down there or what?
Yeah, always. We've had a bunch of rain, which has been good because we were in a no burn dry period for a little while. So we've had some rain. That's always a plus here. But that means my hair is doing even more of whatever the heck it wants. So, that's the usual, right?
Well, it's not helmet head.
No, unfortunately,
it's not.
I've had,
so you can get away with that.
Yeah, I'd rather have helmet head, but that'll come. That'll come.
We all would.
Yes. I know we're all ready.
What do you got for us?
And now it's getting great. I mean, the colors are starting to change everywhere. I mean, this is getting to be primo time.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great here in the Northeast very soon.
Right.
I feel a road trip coming on. The flyer is back here kicking me in the back saying, let's go already.
Yeah. Yeah, do it.
Oh.
Get them wheels a rolling.
Yeah. So you know what? Right before we went on, I pulled up Facebook because I wanted to watch the show, of course, and watch the comments because anyway. So my Facebook reminded me that today, 2 years ago, was when we had the grand finale of the 2018 Cannonball. So happy, sad moment because we're not out there doing it right now, but I know we're going to do it next year. And that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
That'll be great.
Absolutely.
So my little piece of 2018 for tonight's show, I call the Neracar woes. Most of this was shot in the parking lot in Indiana, whatever town we were in, I don't remember, but we were in Indiana. And the Ben Pierce, the driver for the Neracar, had a wreck. And I didn't realize that he went down quite as hard as he did. I just saw that I walked up to say hi and I noticed he had a bandage on his arm. I went, so what's up with you? Because I mean, a Neracar, it only goes like 30 miles an hour. So anyway, I will let him explain that part.
I remember thinking that this is the most terrifying thing I've ever ridden in my life. And that still holds up. I haven't ridden anything more terrifying since. But now it's even weirder than it was, and I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna have to do.
When the frame comes out and bends here and then bends here, this is probably the weakest.
Riding along on a back road, totally straight, top speed, but that's only like 30 for this. So I was riding way off to the side of the road, just out of habit, because this is so slow that I just to avoid other people, you know. And I think I just shouldn't have been doing that, because the asphalt goes down like that, and then gravel, you know, that much, and wandered off a little bit onto the gravel, and then back up onto the asphalt, and then slid out, back and forth, and then slid out.
And then went back down. Yeah, that looks fresh.
But it also, there's something, is it hitting the fender?
Huh?
It's hitting the fender is why it's not turning right as well as it's turning left.
Right.
But I just thought I'd get your opinion on it.
When we had it over there, we put a scissor jack right about here.
Yeah. Kelly, Troy's over there welding up a busted JD cylinder while it's still on the bike.
Is it moving any? This side's not coming up.
She bringing her. Good. Yeah.
Well, you can live in it.
Yeah, pick it up.
Those are the Zerks are about the same distance.
That thing's so unique, isn't it?
And what a challenge to try and run that across country, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you do know that, you know, back in the day, Cannonball Baker actually did a cross-country trip on a Neracar. And that's really kind of what gave him his name. You know, that was one of his many, many challenges that he did do. Set some crazy record on one of those things.
That is
crazy.
That's a good, it's a nice little history piece there.
Yeah, there's actually some really good stories and some good reading on that journey that he had taken on the Neracar. And some good pictures too.
And I see Doug Wafty in the video. He is everywhere. Doug Wafty is everywhere.
We're gonna have to change his name from Around the World Doug to Everywhere Doug.
Everywhere Doug. That's a cool piece, Rebecca. Anything stand out to you about that piece? Any backstory to that, or just a cool video?
Well, Ben is actually, I hope I don't mess it up. He's he races motorcycles. I mean, he's not a beginner rider. So for him to say he does performance testing.
He races a professional motocross.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So he's not a beginner rider. So for him to say that motorcycle terrifies him is
that's
kind of puts it. It puts it in perspective for a lot of people, I think. Once you understand Ben's background. I thought it was really interesting the way he described how the underneath of it is built, that it's like a Ford truck with the I-beams. And I've got a Ford vehicle with I-beams, so I kind of get that. But then the steering is this real funky do thing. And part of the steering was bent and part of the actual frame of the Neracar was bent. So even when they were rolling it around in the parking lot, there was a lot of this wobbly kind of weird movement on top of the wobbly weird movement it does naturally when it's not crooked.
Right.
What part of what they were doing on that last shot over there was they couldn't get something with enough. They couldn't figure out how to bolt it down enough to actually straighten the frame out. So they took it over to a spot where they had one of those great big iron grates for the sewer system. And they chained it to that iron grate and then tried to jack it up. And they did alter it a little bit, but not enough for it to be safe. So Bob, the guy who owns it, found a auto body repair shop somewhere along the route the next day. And
somebody
those
with
guys,
a frame table.
Yeah. So the guys with a frame table were able to bolt it down and straighten it out. But George just mentioned before the show that he also welded on it. So we'll have to ask him about that when they get on.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, if you look at the picture that either from the modern picture or the one that they just put up with the actual Cannonball Baker on it, if you look at that thing in the steering, it's a tiller steering. And it has center, I don't even know how you center axle tiller steering. It's really janky is the word I guess I would call it. It's pretty. I mean, it's crazy is what it is. I've been fortunate enough to ride one of these things, and it's different for sure. I mean, it's janky.
What is it?
Janky.
So boys and girls, all you boys and girls out there, that's your new word of the day. Janky.
I hope the Neracar guys don't send me any hate mail. But
they are.
It was a really fun bike. I mean, they made these in a couple different configurations. The one that Ben rode was actually a 2-stroke model. Which is kind of crazy. And then later, I think in the 20s, Neracar came out with actually a 4-stroke model on those.
So if I have a moment, I have a little side story. I worked with a director of photography named Lex DuPont, who did all the NYPD stuff. He was the director of photography for that show. And we asked him, were you related to the DuPonts who owned Indian? And he said, you guys are the only ones in the film business ever asked me that question. Yes. And he said around the mansion in, where was it, Delaware? He said, we used to ride the Neracars around inside the mansion. They had Neracars as kids.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like I said, little side story, but I just found it funny that they were riding Neracars around inside.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. And they are fun. I mean, they're a hoot, and they're probably one of the most unique motorcycles out there. For
that and a Militaire or Militor, it's kind of like the metal version of a Militaire or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I would actually like to see. I know the Neracar is coming back this year. Not that particular one. I think they ended up finding a 4-stroke one. The 2-stroke one, unfortunately, I mean, in Ben even being a small guy, I think it would only do about 430 or 40 miles an hour. It was very, very slow.
Yeah.
And on most days, he had to get picked up from a sweep trailer just because there just wasn't enough time in the day to make it.
Yeah,
under our restrictions.
Even
so.
Shinya was faster.
I don't know. It's looking like some of these guys that are going to do single cylinders. I mean, they might be in the same boat now with this guy. So,
Jason, I see a lot of our friends are out there tonight. Chris Simmons, who had a great show last night on Two Wheels.
I missed it, but I'm going to go back and watch it because we have the technology to do that.
She had these two wonderful ladies, and any of you watching, when you get a chance, go back and watch last night's episode on Two Wheels. It was really good.
Yeah,
with her and Michael Lichter. Matt Miller is watching, and Matt was up.
Oh, cool.
Drove all the way up from Princeton to help me today, and he's coming up again tomorrow. What a great guy. I can't say enough. Marjorie Kleinman was helping me today. Shadow. A lot of people have been showing up and helping, and I just want to give them a shout out. Spike Johnson is giving us, I think it's Johnson. I'm sorry, Spike, I can't remember. But he's giving us an update on his 38 that he's working on. And cool. I just see there's a lot of great names out there. I think Kelly's in there, Kelly Maudlin. I see David Crum. So you guys keep hit your like and share button. Keep telling people to chime in because we got to get those 100 comments tonight so that Leanne will come back. She'll come back. There's a picture of Leanne last week. And this was a crazy show last week, too.
Oh, yeah. This was a good show.
There's a great shot.
Yo. No, it was great. It's great. I mean, it's this show has been just freaking phenomenal to do and to get to talk to the people and then hear your guys' comments out there, what you thought about it, and like, oh, I didn't know this about this guy, or I didn't know about this motorcycle or this technology. And as you can see on the screen now, you can always go to the Cycle Source Magazine YouTube page or the Facebook page and look at all of our last videos that we've done on this show, including Chris's show, Coast to Coast. You can also check out Cycle Source's shows with their shop talk and virtual bike nights, and our guests that are coming up. They have Super Swap Sunday, which I'm super excited for it to come back.
That's a good one. Bill Page is here. Bill Page, Nancy Weems. I see her. She watches a lot of these shows. And Russ Journey, I think I saw him. Any Cannonballers who have not been on the show and want to be on the show. Oh, damn it. We want you on here.
Don't make me come knock on your door. Because I'm coming.
Jason, we got to make some phone calls. That's it. We're just going to have to make phone calls and get these guys out of here.
There's a few people I want to learn about.
But I think it's going to be hard to follow up on our next guests.
These guys are going to be good tonight. They're going to be good.
Want to bring them in?
Let's do it. Let's bring in our guests. Well, we don't even need an introduction on these guys because these guys are
superstars,
badass. It's the Banks brothers. What's up?
Look, Tom's smiling now.
What's up, guys?
Hi, guys. Hey, GMan, Tom, Gary, how you doing, guys?
What's happening?
Am I yelling too much?
We're just out here tearing down motors, and licking our wounds from Arkansas and trying to get back on track for Cannonball. Good thing Jason canceled that stuff. I'll tell you that.
Oh man. Which clubhouse are we in right now?
We're up north. We're in the northern clubhouse up in Pontiac.
Yep. What's the real name, George, of that clubhouse?
Cast Iron Clubhouse.
That's right. That's the Cast Iron Clubhouse.
The working clubhouse.
Yeah.
That's right.
We actually pulled the motor here this afternoon to see the damage.
What do you got?
Which one did you pull the motor on?
What's the damage?
On the 12 single, I had on Sunday evening, I kind of smoked the motor, you know, just still putting miles on it, and I had sucked a piece of the carburetor from the atmospheric choke, piece of brass, probably about a quarter-inch, half-inch piece of brass. And soon as, you know, I didn't know what I did at the time, but the motor started smoking really bad. You know, I shut it down, and you know, I realized after I pulled that off that, you know, a piece had broken off and went into the intake. So we pulled the motor down tonight, and you know, we'll fix it up.
Tom, tell us about that bike, because we know what it is, but our audience may not know what it is. Tell us about the bike that you are working on.
So the bike I'm working on is a 1912 single. The bike you're looking at, that the motor is actually the motor that's going to be in the race, which came from Lonnie. George is on the 13, which is the twin, which also came from Lonnie. So both of them bikes and motors were juniors. So, you know, we feel like a little connection there. We're going to move forward. But mine's the 12 single. I'm using my backup motor right now. And, you know, I'm just trying to get to be honest, you know, they were talking about the Neracar. I'm scared to death on this bike. It doesn't stop real well. All I have is the coaster brake right now. And, you know, trying to learn to ride it is a really different, it's a different curve. You know, it's a different bike to ride. I've never had anything like it, you know, never tried to ride anything like it before. It's kind of like half bicycle, half motorcycle, and it's hard to get started. You know, once you get it started, you don't want to stop. So it's been a challenge for me, you know, just trying to learn to ride the bike. But I'm getting there. I wish that I got some more miles on it down in Arkansas. But, you know, I did get to ride Bill Payton's.
Tell the people about the primary drive on that bike. What powers the bike? If you follow what I'm saying.
That's a single speed transmission with a belt drive, you know, and, you know, its maximum speed is probably about 40 miles an hour on that. I actually think I hit about 42 miles an hour, you know, in testing. It doesn't really have much power yet, you know, but it is.
Right here's the power right here.
Yeah.
Now, when we say belt drive, so our viewers don't get confused with modern day belts, tell them what kind of belt you're running.
Well, you're basically running a leather belt. You know, it has it has an insert that's nylon or something, but you're basically running a leather belt. And what you have is on mine, you have the tensioner. You know, you have my bike's an 8XA, so that's a rear wheel clutch, and you have a belt tensioner. So what you're doing is that belt tensioner is pulling up on that belt when that clutch is released, and that's what propels you after you gain a little bit of speed by pedaling the bike. You know, now we've learned already that you don't want to pedal the bike with the steering wheel turned, because if your knee gets on the outside of the bike, then you'll wreck it. I wrecked it like, you know, 2 weeks ago, running right over a hill.
Oh man,
I have wrecked it already. But I'm not the only one that wrecked it. I'm not going to talk about who else wrecked them, but we've wrecked them trying to figure them out here.
Well, the bike ain't totally break in until you at least get separated from it.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us about the man in black on your right, and let's talk to him a little bit.
You can tell him, GMan will tell you where he's at with his 13. He's probably ahead of me. His bike will do better.
G, what do you got going on, G-Man?
I was worried about 13 until I got that retrocycle engine, and that alleviated any anxieties I had. Now I've got to build the chassis, and I've done that. I've lifted the handlebars up. I'm tall. I got to make the bike work and steer it. I'm going to build it, you know, to work around myself.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Right behind Gary there. And Gary's been helping us a lot with the machining. We're going to put some probably disc brakes on the back. I've fabbed up a Honda 70 front brakes. So I'm going to have brakes, pretty good power. I'm pretty confident with the bike.
Now that bike has a pretty special meaning too. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a Lonnie Jr. bike. And I'll tell you what, it's a great honor to ride it. And, you know, I'm hoping it does well.
Me too.
Oh, it'll have his spirit in it for sure. And for the people that don't know out there, I mean, Lonnie Isom was the founder of the Motorcycle Cannonball. And then he unfortunately passed away just a couple of years ago, but his spirit and everything else lives on with all of us riders and anybody that's ever known him. And, you know, I know for George, it's going to be a great pleasure. For one, being his first Cannonball as an actual rider and actually getting to ride, you know, this pretty special machine right here. So it, you know, I can't wait to see it out on the road. Start
George,
putting
tell
some
us,
miles down.
tell us a little bit about what you're anticipating, what your maybe some anxieties you might have. Now, you were on the Cannonball as Tom's support crew on the last 2018 Cannonball.
Correct. I loved every minute of it. It was fun. That's my passion. But I've got a feeling this 13 is really going to run. I'm happy with the motor, and I'm going to bulletproof everything else and put extra grease fittings in for the chain carryover going to the back. I'm going to dial it in the best I can. And, you know, I think a lot of our focus is keeping the 12 running, not the 13. To be honest, but
the 12 is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, guys. The singles are going to be a major challenge. All kidding aside, I know we've been saying this, but you know, we were here on the East Coast down there. Well, not the East Coast. We were down in some hills in Arkansas, and believe me, Dave Carrier has really solid. He has a really, really solid single. Like Chris would tell you that, and so will I. And Dave struggled, you know, pulling like we all did. You know, here on the East Coast, it isn't so much that you're going to be at elevations of 9,000 feet. It's going to be the vertical pulls and the distance of that vertical pull. You might be pulling at 8% or 6% or 7% for a mile and a half. And if that's the case, you know, at some point on that single, you're probably going to be off pushing. So, you know, you only have so much time you really have to be on top of it.
Right.
What are you doing training wise to get prepared for that, Tom?
You know, riding a bicycle, walking, doing core exercises, you know, just about, you know, as much as I can. You know, I'm getting old, man. I can't do it like that.
So I seen some pictures of you last week, and it looks like you. Dang, I barely even recognize you because you were so dang skinny now.
Well, you know, I was really in shape for the Cannonball, you know, and now I'm kind of, you know, I've slacked up a little bit. So we get closer to the Cannonball or the Chase. I'll try, you know, not so much the Chase, but the Cannonball. I really need to try to get myself in the best physical shape possible because it is a physical challenge. You know, if you talk to Dean had a personal trainer for 6 months before the race, you know. And the other thing is, I think anybody that's going to try it on an atmospheric valve is really asking for, you know, to have a major challenge. It's going to be difficult to get, you know, with the spring tension on an atmospheric valve to stay in there consistently for 4,000 miles along the road, you know. So,
right.
and you know, you Tom, can change the spring. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Podger wants to know. Mike Podger wants to know if you got a trainer, personal trainer.
Yeah, they're female.
No, I can't. I get trainers, but I usually have a hard time keeping the problem because, you know, things get mixed up and, you know, I'm a single guy that likes motorcycles.
So how do your employees feel when they see you bicycling to work?
I'm sure they talk about me, but I actually go up in the morning we're across the street from the clubhouse. And the truth is I live in the clubhouse more than I do my home, actually all the time. So across the street, I have an 18-bay garage, and I actually pedal up there in the morning on the bicycle, you know, kind of see my crews go out. But I think they all know that that I am prepping for the race, and they know that all kidding aside, as I try to give my best effort at anything I try to achieve, and you know, whether I get my ass kicked is another story. But you know, I do try to get myself in shape and try to give my best effort.
Right.
So I always want to try to do my best.
Hey guys, I want to butt in for 1 second and tell you before the halfway mark of the show, we got to those 100 comments. So you know what that means.
Woohoo!
All righty. Perfect. Cole Deister says, hey, where's Leanne?
Here I come, and I'm mad.
Come on, Leanne.
Well, here I am.
There you are.
And I'm kind of mad because I did not agree to that.
Hey, there's
She
the
was-
driving force.
she
Hey,
was in
there's
the bathroom
driving
at the
force
time.
behind the Cannonball right there, guys. There's the driving force. Yeah.
That's the boss of the Cannonball right
Thanks
there.
for keeping it all going, Leanne. Appreciate it.
So
I guess you didn't hear what I said when she was in the bathroom.
No, I didn't.
No.
Oh well,
no. So
that's
Cole
relationship.
Deister wants to know if your ears were burning. Tom, you got off the phone with TR and your name came up a few hundred times.
Hey, man.
There's
I'm
There's a guy we got to get on the show, Terry Richardson. We got to get him on.
Hey,
Yeah,
so here's the
absolutely.
thing. Terry Richardson's spot down in Arkansas is absolutely sensational. It's on the White River. It is beautiful, beautiful place. The campground right next to it is so spot. I tell you what, here's what I'm gonna say to Terry Richardson. Let's just do it every year, no matter what. Let's call it some type of event. You know, if we want to just do Cannonball, guys, that's awesome with me. But man, is his spot beautiful down there. I can't thank Terry enough, and his whole gang was just awesome, man. Had a great time down there.
Hey, I want to ask G-Man, what's that bike behind you?
That's the 12 right there.
In pieces. The motor's sitting there.
Yeah.
So let us have a look at that, G.
Sure.
Get out of the way, G. Yeah.
You can't really. No.
Yeah.
See it.
Yeah.
So
We
what's
can
for,
get a hint of what it is.
what's for sale in the clubhouse?
So, what? Wait, what's up?
Tom or George? Who's for sale?
You lost audio there.
Did you bump your head?
Yeah.
Hey,
Definitely.
times are tough, but they're not that tough.
So let's go back a little. I mean, let's throw back a little bit, and I want to know from both Tom and G-Man of where your guys' passion came from. I mean, because to me, you're two of the most passionate guys I know right now with your collecting and wrenching and your knowledge. Where's all this come from?
Our father.
We were blessed, guys. We really were born into the life. You know, our father was an Indian dealer back in the 50s. When he got out of the Marine Corps, he rode a flathead back from San Francisco to Pittsburgh. You know, he was way ahead of his time with upswept pipes and all this. So, you know, for us, we grew up around motorcyclists. Our father's best friend was a fellow by the name of Mr. Hart. He's still with us. He's 83 years old. And as you guys know, I always travel a lot with Mr. Hart. And, you know, we've been around my father and Mr. Hart our whole life. So we've been absolutely blessed to have, you know, we were born into that world. You know, it's an awesome thing, man. So we've been doing it. You know, we started on little mini bikes. George and I George would build little mini bikes with a Briggs and Strat when we were 6, 7 years old.
Could blow them up.
Yeah, I'd blow them up.
And G-Man would fix them.
Yeah, it still kind of goes that way. Honestly, God, even in the last game.
Hey guys, can you stick with us? We got to take a little break here, pay some bills. We're coming to you from the Banks Gas Studios, courtesy of Tom and George and all those guys. So we appreciate that, but we got to also pay some other bills. So stick with us and we'll be back in a few minutes, but we got to take a commercial break right here.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm with Banks Brothers Motorcycles. One of the things I want to show you today is our new improved engine puller.
The changes to this machine has been in the arms and in the hands. We put heim joints in the hand to allow rotation of the engine, which makes it easier to get it in and out of the frame. With the angle change, we have equal clamping pressure on them. And over here we have what's called the posi lock, which allows this to be locked in place and the engine can't swing from side to side.
And we're going to show you just how easy it is to pull the motor out of the bike right now. George is actually going to come in, make contact with the cylinders, tighten it down, and pull it out of there.
You lift it up, rotate it, and bring the assembly out of the frame. You see the motor starting to move, and it centers itself. This allows no side play once the motor's in place, and it keeps it safe. It can't fall out.
Visit BanksBrothersMotorcycles.com to order your Banks lift.
So I know we've been talking about the Banks lift here for the last few weeks here on this show, and how much I personally love the thing, and how I push it around and just play with it dang near daily in my shop. But we're blessed to actually have the guys that put this thing together with us right now. Tom and GMan, and
right. Well, let's not forget about we have to. We'll come back to that, but we have to talk about one of our great sponsors who has been helping us all out and helping the Banks brothers by providing some quality products, Jim's Performance Products.
Yeah, absolutely. Great company.
What a fantastic company. All American products. And, a lot of people think about Jim's for all the newer stuff, but at Retrocycle, we contracted with them to make shafts for JDs, and boy, they've been so accommodating. They have a great machine shop. I will not build an engine without Jim's products in them. They are competitively priced, and just the precision is spot on. And we've heard about some shaft failures from other companies, and that's why we went to Jim's to contract it, because we knew if they were going to make it, it was going to be made right. So they make JD,
absolutely,
sprocket pinion, and crank pins. All those shafts, and it's just been a great product, and we use them in all our JD motors we rebuild at Retrocycle. Plus, their shop tools are unbelievable. I mean, I can't say enough good things about this company. They're accommodating, and they make a great product.
Absolutely. I love them.
Yeah, they're wonderful. And now let's talk about the Banks lift, and let's talk about it with them, and maybe we can talk about some Jim's products that they've insisted on.
Yeah, there you go. So Tom and GMan, where did the inspiration on the lift come from?
Pulled a 52 panhead motor out, and it took two of us, and he about broke his back. So I told him, I'm going to go home and build something to pull these motors, and he laughed at me.
And how long did it take you to come up with this idea and design?
Probably a couple months. I started thinking about it, and then we're on prototype number 16, so I just kept improving it. The first one had a 3 cam on it. It would lift a car, It could lift 6,000 pounds, which is way too much. So I scaled it down and worked it. As recent as last week, Gary here just made a kit to go on a Harbor Freight table.
Nice.
So
nice.
And that's a big thing, because a lot of guys have the Harbor Freight tables. And they could use the lift with that table. That would really be major.
So what
it's got different legs on it that will work with that type of table?
The kit will lift it over the here's where we're going to go with the lift, guys. The kit will lift it. It'll lift it up over where you can get the wheels underneath it, so you have the support to be able to use it. We're going to do one point here in the very near future is we're going to bring the manufacturing in-house. Once we bring the manufacturing in-house, we feel like we can lower the cost substantially, which we think will help us market the lift. We think that our biggest problem right now is our break point with pricing. So we really think that, we don't need to make enough of them that we have to have a major manufacturer, but we feel like if we can set it up and do the jigs ourselves, that we can sell them a lot cheaper. And we really feel like we have it at the point now where it's a really efficient pull. The Heim joints really changed that. And just as recently as last week, we come up with a way to, get underneath the tables that we weren't able to use it on. And like G-Man said, a lot of folks use that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the lift, man.
You brought it up, Gary. What, 4.5, almost 5 inches?
5 inches.
5 inches. Yeah, it works well.
That allows the lift to slide right under, nice and easy.
Hey, and you know what, man? I'm going to say something
It's
from
a
the
great
studio.
American-made.
I'm sorry to cut in on
It's
you,
a
but
great American-made product, and it was the Cycle Source Product of the Year in 2019. And it's a great lift. It's a great lift, and I tell you, if you've lifted an engine out of a frame, Have you guys tried it on a Sportster engine yet?
Yes.
Beautiful.
We have to take that out the left side. And Sportster motors are tight.
They are tight.
That's a little tougher than a big twin, but it works.
It's beautiful.
It beats wrestling, that thing. I'll tell you, I'm too old for that.
Yeah. That's for sure. I'm with you, G-Man.
So does the Banks brothers, do they have anything new and exciting coming up in line of products?
Well, I think what we really want to do is we want to bring the lift inside. Now, George is still making all kinds of different products, but we're not ready for the public. Now, he has a million different stuff. He has all kinds of stuff that we put motors on and everything that we just have here in our clubhouse. But eventually, when George retires, we're going to market more of that stuff. The biggest problem right now is George doesn't have the time, and I don't have the smarts. So, that's where we're at with that.
We have these motorcycle gurneys that bring a bike up. We just put it on this rack, and we can roll it over to the toolbox wherever we want. And that doesn't take up our service rack. They're actually builder racks. And Gary and I have been working on a few things in the machine shop. He's teaching me the machine. I run the mill, and I got a lathe. We have a son at home now. We're really torn up time for retirement, of course. And that's my passion. That's all I'm gonna do is wrench on these bikes. I love to wrench. And I'm really putting the 13 together is a big deal for me. I love it. And like I said earlier, it's just an absolute honor to ride the Lonnie Jr. bike. I mean, that really it's big to me. So
right.
This is really, really.
I just got to let you know that George is a good student too.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm always learning every day.
So here's the real thing. That originally I had bought the 13 to race in the Cannonball. After the 18 Cannonball, I knew I wanted to go on an earlier bike. And when I saw that bike, I said, "Well, this is early. Plus, it's a single speed and make a Class 2 bike." At the time, George wasn't in the Cannonball. So what happened is when George got in the Cannonball, George is 6'2" or 6'3". I'm 5'10". It made better sense for him to ride the double and for me to ride something else. So that's kind of how we've evolved to the point where I'm the full one, the single.
Right.
Not complaining.
Let's take a look at some pictures, and maybe you guys can talk to us about what's going on in these shots that we have lined up for you. I think we have some photos that you guys sent us that we want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, that's at the beginning of the Cannonball. That's out in Portland, Maine. That's right before the very start of the race. We had come into town, and here's the funny thing: up in, I had first and second gear. Going out in the first 10 miles, I actually counted. I had only had second and third gear. So George is running alongside me saying, "You just got to ride it. You're just going to have to ride it." So I ran the red light stop signs and got it in them 10 miles.
2-gear Tom got it in, and I started wrenching. I was wrenching that bike every day.
That actually brings me up to one of the questions I wanted to ask and that's probably good. I mean, what did you feel on the first day of the Cannonball, being a first-year rider? I mean, honestly, were you nervous? Were you?
Absolutely, and in a lot of ways overwhelmed. I'm really not a good mechanic, so there's always the pressure of breaking down for me because I'm not a good mechanic. And the other thing is I had never been around the Cannonball riders these are the very top 1% of the antique motorcycle world. So a lot of these guys were stars to me, were guys that I looked up to. I was afraid to come up to Chris Trippy, and guys like that I had only heard of. I mean, I knew who they were and stuff, but so it was a bit overwhelming. Now, I'm close to a lot of them guys, and it seems like, we're all the same kind of guys in that. But very early on, without a question. And I got lost on the first day. I dropped the oil, and Dave didn't know where I went, and he pulled out and left me. I ran into Doug Wathy, and Doug actually took me in. He's bailed me out on the Cannonball chase. That guy's always bailing me out.
Tom, can I back you up? Can I back you up to 2 weeks before the Cannonball?
All the pressure 2 weeks before the Cannonball. I'm going to get the bike to run. The only regret that I have is we should have put the 20 motor in. Had we put the 20 motor in, we'd have made all the miles.
George, you know what I'm leading up to, right?
Oh, I know exactly what you're leading.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Yeah, we were out there.
Tell the story.
2 weeks before the Cannonball.
You and I were sweating our asses off on this.
Oh, we got out there to tune it up. We ended up pulling the motor out.
Nah,
it was unbelievable. We were there for 2 days. Rob saved us. I mean, there's just no question about it.
That motor, to be honest.
Well, that's not what I'm leading up to, but I kept calling them because I knew they were nervous, right? And I was like, how you guys doing? Oh, man, we can't get this going, and we can't get that going. We can't go. I said, put it in your truck and come on out. We got to get this thing going for you guys.
And
so George loads up and heads out to New Jersey in 2 days? 2 or 3 days, George. What'd we do? I mean, we were.
Yeah, like 2.5 days, I think, almost 3, but it was, it was running that.
And meanwhile, Ryan was finishing off a motor so that you'd have a backup, right?
Yep, the 20.
Good thing.
Yeah, and then we fired it up as you were loading the van, and you took it with you.
Yeah. Actually, the night before I left, the pocket valves were leaking bad. We still couldn't get it. And Rob had these great Mold Star pocket valves. He sold us them. We put them in. It ran. That made it 2.5 days on the Cannonball.
Here's a problem. The 21 was a really original bike. Okay, I really should have picked a different bike to run in the Cannonball. It was a very, very original bike, and I know that now. I've got smarter as I continue to go along collecting and that. But, we just weren't prepared enough, to go across. Like I said, if we'd have put the 20 motor in that Rob's group had built, we'd have made all the miles, But in 2.5 days, I blew that one up, and we had fun from there on out, So there's no crying.
It was a great.
So let's go to the next. Let's go to the next picture because the next picture starts telling that story, I think.
Yeah, man, that's in the pits. That's actually after we had changed the motor because I could. That's up in New York. That's in Jamestown right there, and that's George probably picking your brain about switching the generator.
I switched it
from the other motor to this motor, and really from this night forward, guys, that motor ran like an absolute champ. Okay, I soft seized it at 7,000 up in. I don't know, somewhere out west, but we got it going and never missed another mile.
That's another story.
I did soft seat.
And we throw cold water on a hot motor, right, Tom? That's what we do.
Hey, sometimes you have to throw caution to the wind, when you're out there at that point in time.
That's right.
I know it's a no, but I threw caution to the wind. I was either going to ride or blow it up, and that's, hey man, I rode.
Right. Had an original transmission that never really touched. I mean, it would slide forward.
Guys, that bike had an inner primary. God. Okay, how many? It was a 1921 with the original inner primary. It wasn't the right bike to Cannonball on, but I don't have any regrets. I had so much fun. I got to meet so many great people and got to be friends with so many great people.
It was a great time.
There's nothing like the Cannonball family. And there's a couple right there,
No doubt.
So both of those, you talk about people that you were kind of in awe in, or, you was almost afraid to beat, Here's two of them right here. It turns out they're like two of the nicest people in the world. Totally down to earth, the same passion for motorcycles that we have. yeah, the one guy's a rock star, and Chris is a rock star.
He's a rock star too.
So,
that's right.
Hey, man.
Same with the guy in the background.
Really. So that's some great company right there. And even that fellow photobomb in the picture.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
And that's Sturgis. That was in Sturgis, that picture. So that was nice. We had a little time to hang out a little bit.
Yeah, that was somewhere out there.
So I want to ask Tom of how he actually learned about the Cannonball while we're talking about this, and why did he choose that style of motorcycle or that particular motorcycle?
Well, I had been hearing about the Cannonball, through, obviously I'm an AMCA guy and a collector, so I'd been hearing about it. And one thing is, I'd always done cross-country runs, but on modern bikes and heads. So, it seemed like it'd be right up my alley. Heck, I didn't have to carry a tent and sleeping bag. So I thought, oh, this is even better. I can go ride without a tent and sleeping bag. And that's kind of how I heard about it. And then I actually, I started to reach out to Jason and try to find a way to get myself in the race. I actually became obsessed with it. I got the email on about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I remember I never answered emails, but I was waiting for that email. When I got the email, I got up out of bed. I was by myself, I got up and I was like so happy. It really, honestly, it was a wonderful time for me, man.
We didn't know what we were in for either.
No, we didn't know.
We had to build the bike. Gary did the machining on that bike in 2018. He did with brakes and various other things. And we made it across, which was big.
We had it mechanically. The bike itself was, it was running great. But...
No, we had good brakes. Yeah. Rear brake was good. Front brake was good. And, we put the second motor in, hey, we never missed a beat. The bike went across the country with no problem. So what, I soft seasoned, but we still got it going. And we came in on time that day. I did hit about almost 70 miles an hour. I hit like 68 miles an hour because I thought I was behind. Claude actually told me you're last right now, so I had really, I figured it was, I was going to go for broke and I made it in.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Chris Simmons says we love the Banks brothers and Mr. Hart too.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Hart's our mentor, and I was actually had dinner with him last night. I'm constantly with Mr. Hart. He can't quite travel with me like he used to. His health is really frail at this point, to be honest. I do have him living with me across the street in one of my compounds. And, I see him every day and hang out with him every day. But he's just moving slow, and he just kind of hangs out. His bikes are there with him, and he has his TV and his Fox News, and he's happy, man.
We missed the commander. Tell him we all said hi, man.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about a little bit more about the passion. I want to know, and let's start with GMan of what is your go-to bike right now? What do you get on, and what gives you the most pleasure to ride right now?
Right now, it's my street glide till this panhead's running out back here. Then we get on that. I have enough bikes I can move around. I got a 69 electric glide that's something. And I love Sportsters. Everybody laughs about that. I got a 70 XLH boat tail and some various other ones, 71 XLCHs. I can't say I have an actual favorite right now. I'm really looking forward to that 13 now, I'll tell you that. And as far as passion, I go to bed at night thinking about motorcycles, and it puts me to sleep. And when I wake up, it's the same thing. And I think about parts all day.
And you are one of the most knowledgeable persons that I know with parts. You can show you something and you rattle it right off.
It's just, it's so cool. And believe it or not, every time they change the part, there was for a reason. I've been reading about Harley Davidson, like when they put that flange on the rear brake hub, there's a reason. It's because in 58 they had hydraulic brakes. They wanted to reinforce them. There's all kind of little neat tidbits, of information and I glean all the knowledge I can, of course, and listen all I can. And, it's wonderful. As soon as I'm retired, all I'm going to do is wrench and continue building pans and shovels and whatever.
And I want to get in on your program. I want a GMan bike. I probably got a long wait behind Tom, though.
Well, I hear about that 76 shovel head you have. Tom's been telling me about that.
Yeah. Did you guys give us a video tonight? Do we have a video from you guys or not? Or just some more pictures?
Heck yeah. That's Glacier, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's out west. That's me running behind Dave with either my iPhone or a whatever that is you put up on your handlebars. I forget what they call that one.
Oh, a little GoPro or something.
Yeah, GoPro, that's what it was. I'm sorry. So that's either me, my iPhone, and Dave and I just running. We're running just a normal stagger every day at probably 45 miles an hour and just out there and try to stay.
I know I've gotten the pleasure to ride with you a little bit on both the Cannonball and then even last year on the Chase. We kind of hung out for most of the ride. You, me, and Jody, and I get such a pleasure of being with you because you're happy all the time, freaking giggling. Yeah, I can just hear you giggling going down the road. 100 yards behind or whatever, man. You just have so much fun out there on these things. And, same question as GMan. What's your kind of go-to, what's your most fun thing to ride right now?
So for me, it's really clear. If I'm going to ride a knucklehead, it's my 39 restored knucklehead, which is an absolutely beautiful bike. It's an Eldon Brown restoration, and it's a super good runner, dialed in, and a very correct. It's a Winter Circle AMCA bike. For the Panhead, I like to ride the 51. It's actually a restored bike that I got from the Rocky Mountain Motorcycle Museum from Jim Ware maybe 6 months ago. And, it's a hardtail, another very correct bike, but a lot of gingerbread on it. So I always pick between those two. I also ride a 54 a lot. I do a lot of the local runs here. I like the 54. That's another restored bike. I have a bunch of original paint Panheads, but I kind of only ride them around the block. I have 36 knuckleheads that are restored. I will ride them. Again, I don't, a restored bike I can always fix, although I don't like to get too crazy on the 36s, but I love riding my 39.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we also, we haven't brought it up much. I just kind of did a second with me getting to ride with you on the Chase last year. Let's hear a little bit about your thoughts about that.
So, hey, the Chase to me was really cool because now we were back with a tenon sleeping bag, except we didn't have to carry the tenon sleeping bag. We only had to carry the tools, and your clothes. I thought the Chase was a different style race. I actually, I really liked it. I like the quizzes. And what I would like to know is who actually did. I want you to go get all the quizzes and find out who did the best on the motorcycle question. Because I actually thought I did good on the motorcycle questions, and then I'd mess up when you want me to spell Chattanooga. Man, get the hell out of here. How the hell am I going to spell man, come on, man. I don't care if you spot me to C and the H or however many damn letters are in it. Ask me some motorcycle questions. I want you to go back and look at it.
Let's talk about underwear. Let's talk about underwear, Tom.
So here's the thing. I had ran out of underwear. And a lot of times when you're going to do something like this is like an old school road trip. You'll take clothes that are, no, not this, it's brand new from Kelly. This ain't going nowhere. But you'll take clothes with you that are at the end of their life. All right, so at the first time you're going to change a shirt, boom, you throw that away. Now you got a little lesser load. Well, I ran out of underwear. And, and it just so happened that a dude crashed his bike. And Mike Russo, he wrecked his bike, and he had Jody and I were literally going out to get. We're going to take a ride, and I was going to go get some underwear. And he said, "Hey, where are you headed? We're going to go get some underwear." Well, I got some underwear, and they actually weren't worn. They were still in the bag. They were brand new in the bag. They had never fit him because they were tight on me, and he's a bigger guy than me.
That's what Brusso said he told you.
He did what? What did Brusso say he did?
That's what Brusso said he told you.
No, they weren't new in the bag. Hey, listen, even if they weren't, I wouldn't care. I went down the road with them, and I made it in terms of underwear. I guess I'm in Florida. And at some point, you run out of underwear. You're down to a couple shirts, and that's how it goes. I got on an airplane at the end of the race and straggled home with whatever clothes were on my back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a lot of them.
We're having fun with you. Somebody else said, I think Rebecca said that she, on the chase, she was following you, and she said one of the funniest things she saw was you stopped at a light or something, leaned over and petting a dog out a car window.
Well, he was a nice dog, and I could tell he was friendly. He wanted to converse. I love animals, man. I'm a cat lover. I didn't go to Sturgis because my cat's been sick. I got to give him all these pills.
Right.
But be honest, I'm a pet lover, and when I see a dog or a cat that I can get a pet out of, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get that pet, even if I'm in the middle of a race.
Yeah.
Chris wants to know why you didn't use a bread basket.
A bread basket where at? On the bike?
Yeah.
So honestly, I needed to have a better appearance. If I had to do it again, I have a doctor's bag for the Cannonball. I'd like to have something more authentic, So I don't know why I didn't do it. I was just, beginning is done. I think maybe.
So Dave Courier's chiming in, which I know you guys have become fast buddies after the last Cannonball, and he wants to know about your riding style, the way that you ride on the Cannonball.
Well, I don't know. I hope to think that I steady Eddie it. I rode with Dave Courier for most of the time, so I like to ride in a
wide open.
No, I like to try to steady Eddie.
Load up time.
Hey, here's the thing. What happens is at some point in time, this happened down in Arkansas. I wasn't on my bike. I was on Bill Page's bike. He was behind me, and I raced his son up over the mountain because once you got the feel, and he wanted to crack him on, hey, we were WFO all the way up over with the old man behind us. I felt, I said, Bill, I'm really, oh no, Tom, go ahead and run it, So we did. I ran with young Bill, and his dad built a hell of a bike, and I hammered it up over the hill. So the truth of the matter is when I do get out on the road, it is hard for me sometimes not to, I'm a motorcycle. I really enjoy, turning the wick sometimes when I have the opportunity. Not crazy or stupid, but I like to have fun, man. Sometimes
yeah, but the big question is he going to sell you the bike?
Wait a minute, which one?
Bill Page.
No, I tried to get the bike out of him. No,
I knew it.
I really did. I tried to get it. Hey, listen, after the first day, I knew he has this new one he built, and hey, the guy can build a solid motor. I'm like, hey, I build, we want to sell it. Nah, no, Tom. Hey, you throw your hat in the ring. Most of the fella could say is no. He was good about it. But honestly,
two of the greatest guys too. Bill and Billy, great guys.
Guys, I hate to pick places. The Kansas guys, they're the salt of the earth, man. They really are.
They are.
You think about the group that we have in the Cannonball, and I consider us all to be family. But my goodness gracious, the group from Kansas, man, they are the salt of the earth. The Pattersons and
Kelly's fantastic.
Kelly is just, man, look, they're the best.
Yeah, they are. They're great guys.
So we only got just a few minutes left here. So as we're going out, I want to know what's next for the Banks brothers. What can we expect over the next year? And let's start with GMan on this one.
I'm going to continue wrenching and building and getting ready for that Cannonball. I can't wait.
And are you working out with Tom's trainers too?
No, I'm married. Happily married. I'm going to stay that way.
So, Any new tools, any new bikes that you're going to be working on over the year besides the Cannonball?
No, I'm going to just start. I got about 20 bikes to restore right now. Plus, we got a couple down at the other clubhouse. That's 64 dual glide. We got to go through it. We just actually have to get the fleet back up and running. Is what we have to do. But if something comes up, I just might buy it. You never know. That's how we. I mean, it's sporadic. You never know. You get a good deal, and boom, either Tom Wire will get it. I mean, we looked at some bikes here a week ago. I don't know if we can get them, but yeah,
I'm gonna get
it's the nature of the beast.
I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them.
So, same question with Tom. I mean, what can we expect out of Tom Banks and?
Well, obviously, I'm gonna race in the Cannonball, and I found out that I have a long way to go to get there. To even be up on the starting blocks. I have my work cut out there. But also, if the Chase is going to be held in 2021, I probably want to race in the Chase again too. That was a lot of fun for me. And I really enjoy it. So I probably want to do both of them things. And as you guys know, I chase those panheads and knuckleheads all over the world, and that's an everyday thing for me. I also chase the parts, the memorabilia. I'm just so passionate about the motorcycle. So I'm constantly in the, in that world looking for parts, looking for bikes, memorabilia, just, everything to do with our antique world, primarily Harley Davidson.
Heck yeah. Ain't nothing better.
Shot right there. That's a great picture of you and Lonnie Sr.
Yeah,
right there.
You know what? So here's another guy that I was like in awe to me. I had always heard so much about Lonnie. I had heard that this guy has he owns the oldest known Harley single in the world. I read the article about it in the magazine at one time. Then I got to meet Lonnie. He's another regular down to earth guy. Just a really cool cat, and I'm blessed to be around those kind of folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to just take a quick minute to thank you guys for, really everything, for being a sponsor of the show. Really even becoming mentors for me of how your passion in the antique motorcycle world, the passion with the Cannonball, the Chase, everything that you guys are doing. I mean, it's a real treat for me to watch what you guys are doing, and I hope you keep documenting and keep having fun. And I want to thank you guys again for coming on the show tonight. Definitely going to have you guys back a few times. I'd love to come and do an actual in-house interview with you guys and get to see the clubhouse and get to go riding with you and maybe get to work out with your trainer a little bit. And
of course, you're working out with my trainers. You don't want to do that. Hey, all kidding aside, and you guys are going to have me in trouble. I'm never going to be able to get a girlfriend, man. Oh, okay. So all kidding aside, thanks so much for having us on. We really, really appreciate it. We love doing the things for the Cannonball. We love to try to help promote the race. George and I both really are passionate about the motorcycles, passionate about the Cannonball. We just, everything about it. We're so blessed to be in this world. We're thankful. And thanks so much for having us on tonight, guys. We really appreciate it.
Hey, we have one more comment here. Somebody says they want to get a Banks Brothers hat or T-shirt. Do you have a place where they can get something like that?
Right now, next Tuesday, George and I are doing actually I have a photo shoot Saturday, and then I have a photo shoot on Tuesday and Wednesday where we're going to put the bikes up on the spinners. We had bought a nice spinner from David Perowitz, and we got it up and running now. So we are going to put the bikes all on the website. At the same time, we're coming out with the clothing line. So right now we're like making final decisions on what clothes we're going to come out with. But all the bikes are going to wind up on the site, guys. After we're going to start filming again next week.
Is George's face going to be all over the van too, George?
Well, I don't know about all that.
Well, I just
that's a big Tom coming down the road.
Actually,
right, George?
Actually,
all Tom.
We're going to change it around. We're going to have team banquets. Is going to be our team in the Cannonball. So Jody's going to come out here along with Georgia. We're going to do a photo shoot. We'll probably use Jody's picture because see, you put her on there instead of me right there.
She's much better looking.
She's much better looking, okay? So that's why we're use Jody. But we are going to rewrap the van, and we're going to use Jody's trailer. So yeah, we're going to have some fun with it. And you know, I do like to, you know, I have a company that makes all the signs and they do all them cool things for me. I like cool stuff, man.
Yeah, and you got some cool stuff. And maybe next time we come back, you can show us that new trailer you got.
That's a cool thing too, man. I'm all ready for it. I had a good time with it down there, and we're going to take it down to Denon, and we're also doing Maryland, right, George? So we're going to take it out to Maryland, and you know, I'm
gonna miss Maryland this week, guys, and I was hoping to see you, but I ain't gonna be able to get away. So hopefully soon.
Yeah, well, we'll get there.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Guys.
Well, let's wrap this baby up, Robbie.
Yeah.
You know, of course. Before we do that, I just want to give a quick update with Bill Dodge. You know, we're just real close to meeting the financial requirements of the GoFundMe. If you guys can get on there and do anything that you can, this cat, you know, he's a true motorcyclist. He's a true biker. He loves antique bikes just as much as we do.
It's a big friend of Source Media too, Jason, and maybe Chris can come in and give us a few seconds of his time and tell us some more. If
I
didn't want to cut you off, but I want to give Chris a shot.
I'd be happy to, man, just to speak on this cat for a minute, because Bill is one of the most compassionate, considerate person that you'll run across in the motorcycle industry. He does so much for so many people. And, you know, right now he's going through a really tough time. I mean, it's up and down. You know, he's got a long road ahead of him. So, you know, what we're trying to do by pushing this recovery fund is make sure that he got some money sitting there so that he can focus on his recovery and not worry about the bills, the shop, you know, everything else that has to go on in day-to-day life, but just get better and get himself back on the square ground.
Chris, for those who don't know, little backstory on what happened. I think you mentioned it was a hit and run.
It was, and I don't know a whole bunch of the details, so I don't want to say a bunch, but he was close to his shop, you know, obviously in Florida and Daytona, you know, and Bill's a rider, you know what I mean? So it's not like he was out hot dogging or doing something he wasn't supposed to be. From what I understand, it was a classic left-hand turn, and, you know, driver just took him out, and it's something to think about, because here, what we talk about in the loss of a person like a Bill Dodge, you know, the God forbid that it would have went that way. You know, this is somebody that 2 minutes ago you were talking to him on the phone or looking at his Facebook or his Instagram, and what a huge void would be left behind for something like that happening. And just the outpouring of love and affection from the whole motorcycle industry has been incredible. Right now that fund stands at $4,190. 41,000, excuse me, of the $50,000 goal. So like I couldn't be more proud to be part of the motorcycle community today, seeing that go on.
So and that 50,000 is not even going to touch what it's really going to cost, you know.
Right.
And there's a ton of other things going on. You know, guys are reaching out to me every day. What can they do? They have frames, they have bikes. You know, there's going to be so much more. But just putting that original fund together to make sure there's some money there to take care of the concerns is a big thing.
Right.
So thank you guys for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, again, I want to thank, Cyclosource Media for everything that they do. Jim's Performance, our good friend Jim Ware at the Rocky Mountain Motorcycle Museum. Of course, our friends over at Chopper Town, Dennis Kirk, the Law Tigers, the Iron Horse Campground, Kiwi Indian, of course, my buddy right next to me over here, Mr. Retrocycle, the Broken Spoke Saloon, Legends Motorcycles, and also Sinless Cycles. You know, thanks again for all your guys' support with the Cannonball, with this show, everything that you guys do. Great show next week again. We will be back again on Wednesday. I remember the guest, but I'm going to let you guys wait it out. I promise it's another good one. It just gets better and better. We're having more and more fun. Thanks again, Rob, for being my co-host on the show.
Thank you for letting me be your co-host, and I can't wait to see where you come to us from next week, Jason.
Oh, it's a big surprise.
I can't wait for Wednesday. What day is it?
Hump Day.
Hump Day. Thanks, brothers. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Laters.